How you doing, guys? Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the original steering setup for an RJ35, and it was called a cable steer, essentially. Instead of having like a link system on like an RJ58, which has a steering block at the end of the steering shaft and a link that goes down to the trunnion and the steering spindle, I guess you call it the wheel spindle, and then the drag link comes over and then drags and pulls the other wheel. The original setup on a 55, an early 55, was a cable steer, and essentially what would happen is the cable would wrap around a spool like this on the steering shaft, and then these threaded ends would get bolted into the trunnion tops. When you turned the spool, or I should say the steering shaft, the spool would turn, obviously, and that would wind and unwind the cable on the spool, causing, because this thing kind of goes like this, actually it's in the other direction, it goes in there like this, and that's what actually kind of moves your steering. What ended up happening is these cables broke. They're pretty notorious for snapping. They would rub on the bottom of the frame. There's like a high twist area right here on the end of the cable where it meets the threaded end. So they broke. Wheel Whores had a lot of warranty work, according to people that I've talked to, so they just dumped the whole design and they went to the link system. I do reproduce these systems for RJs. If somebody wants to do an RJ35 cable steer setup, basically there's three parts. There's a spool, which I fully machine out of a big piece of bar stock. I make the cables, a proper diameter cable with a 1/4-20 end. It's all soldered together, just like the originals, and then the link system in the that it all attaches to. I don't have a 55 RJ to put this on, but I am going to install it on my 56, just so people can see it working. At the show, one of my buddies bought one of my kits. We installed it. I'm going to put that video, or run in that video towards the end. I do have these kits all pre-ordered basically and sold. I make them in small batches because I'm not a machinist. So when time permits, that's when I make them. So I made one for myself. Finally, I really haven't had a chance to make one for myself. I make 2 or 3 kits and then I sell them because I pretty much make them as I have an order. So I have a bunch of these people want. So I took a Saturday and machined all the spools, and then I took basically another Saturday and made the cables. This morning I just made up the link real quick for mine, and obviously I'll have to make some more links. So I'm going to install this on my 56, which is incorrect, but I just want a cable steer on my tractor. Alright, I'm going to roll in some video and we'll go from there. For comparison purposes, here is the original steering setup on my 56. We've seen this in other videos. But just so you can see the difference, because I am going to install the cable steer on, here is what the link system looks like. There's the drag bar. Obviously there's no cable provision. There's your link right there. Steering link goes down to the trunnion then turns the spindle. And then the steering block is up underneath. Alright, next step, installation. This is what a cable steer looks like all set up. You can see the drag link is in place. I got cotter pins holding it in so it doesn't pop out. There's the spool with the cable wrapped around it. The 3/16 roll pin holding it in place. I had to finagle it a little bit to get it in there. All these tractors are a little bit different, so it's kind of hard to just say this specific measurement's always going to work. So, but I'm going to put it back down on the ground in a few seconds, but here it is. It's all hooked up, and just for your viewing enjoyment, you can see. The thing that works really nice about a stable cable steer compared to the link system is just how smooth the cable steer works. Now this is not nearly as durable as the link setup, but I gotta tell you, once you drive one of these with a cable steer in place, you're definitely gonna wanna swap out and go to this. Okay, I couldn't resist. Let's take it out for a ride and see how the steering works. Yeah, not a lot of slop or nothing. Straight down. No slop. There you go, my friend. Go enjoy it.
Cable steer.